These are my thoughts regarding parts of the past 4 years. I titled it Quid Pro Cruciatus. In this top secret document, I am obliged to use pseudonyms in lieu of legal names, to wit, The Rock, Hindenburg, SS, Lady Macama. The Rock. When I entered medical school in 1973, we were told to read and personify the message of Sir William Osler's speech, Equanimitas. Therein, Dr. Osler shared his conviction, gleaned from a long life of practicing and teaching medicine. In the physician or surgeon, no quality takes rank with imperturbability. Dr. Fauci is equanimous. As Beethoven said of Handel, to him, in this case Dr. Fauci, I bend the knee. To you, Dr. Fauci, as King Duncan said of his then faithful servant Macbeth, more is thy due than more than all can pay. Hindenburg, personification of Tennessee Williams' essay, The Catastrophe of Success. It was published November 30th, 1947 in the New York Times, 4 days before the Broadway opening of his play, A Streetcar Named Desire. Hotels, Hindenburg has never, in all the years of owning hotels, has never gained Williams' insight, gleaned from Williams' brief stay at a swank New York City hotel. In 1947, Tennessee Williams, newly famous on Broadway, received a startling revelation as he stayed in a first-class Manhattan hotel. Hotel service is embarrassing. Maids, waiters, bellhops, porters, and so forth are the most embarrassing people in the world, for they continually remind you of the inequities which we accept as the proper thing. The sight of an ancient woman gasping and wheezing as she drags a heavy pail of water down a hotel corridor to mop up the mess of some drunken, overprivileged guests is one that sickens and weighs upon the heart and withers it with shame for this world in which it is not only tolerated but regarded as proof positive that the wheels of democracy are functioning as they should, without interference from above or below. Nobody should have to clean up anybody else's mess in this world. It is terribly bad for both parties, but probably worse for the one receiving the service. Williams, seeing this and desperate for restoration, checked out of the Manhattan Hotel and moved to Chapala, Mexico. Hindenburg, take physic, pomp, expose thyself to feel what wretches feel. From King Lear. Hindenburg, you spout silly promises that the pandemic will spontaneously vanish. Poof. Your theater of the absurd reminds me of a surgery in which I assisted during my 3rd year of medical school. As the surgeon and chief resident were steadily cutting, suddenly blood seemed to be gushing from everywhere. Hands rushed to suction, apply pressure, cauterize, clamp, suture, and staple till the flood of blood stopped. Midst my panic, came a seasoned, dark voice of sarcastic reassurance from the chief surgical resident as he leaned toward me and whispered the old surgical truism: "Don't worry, all bleeding stops." Don't worry, all pandemics stop? Is that when the sun expands and envelops the earth? Many sources say that you are like Peter Sellers' character, Chance the Gardener, who famously said, "I like to watch." Using that as my guide, as a Christmas gift, I bought you a video set of Dick and Jane. The company, seeing that it was a gift for you, without my permission, substituted Dick Does Jane. SS. You can always tell a Harvard man, but you can't tell him much. So said my Harvard-trained philosophy professor long before I had even heard of you. Taking a woman reporter alone into your office to verbally work her over, of course, sans witnesses. What CIA/Army machismo? Bravo! I award you the Order of the Oaf. How deft! Showing her an outline map of countries of Europe and Asia while asking her to identify Ukraine. She nails it, you lie. Very CIA. I can imagine your surprise when you found that sitting before you was the equivalent of Anna Politkovskaya, unmoved, staring with pity at your pettiness. Screaming obscenities? So sorry that your cheap rivets gave way. Next time, buy and use authentic Joseph Conrad brand. I was in the Army Reserve during part of the Vietnam War, 1971 through 7. I tired of hearing the drill sergeants scream their favorite fricative glottal word, fuck. Given your generous jowls, I'm surprised that you didn't choke as you spit out that monosyllable fuck over and over and over. You remind me of Solzhenitsyn's depiction of those whom Sakharov left when he refused to continue research and development of Soviet nuclear weapons. Quote, the well-fed, heavy-jowled to join the insulted and injured, quote, from the Oak and the Calf. SS, my wife is from Finland. She speaks, reads, and writes Swedish, Finnish, German, and English. When we began to date, she showed me a video titled The Finnish Solution, an analysis of the Finnish strategies over the years for dealing with the former USSR, now Russia. It featured interviews with Max Jakobsen, former Finnish United Nations ambassador and former employee of the BBC. Polylingual, so clear, so articulate, absolutely honest, the antithesis of Hindenburg and SS. In your free time, use your CIA teaching techniques on your boss to instruct him where Finland is located, and emphasize over and over that Finland is not a part of Russia. The Finns are still enjoying belly laughs at Trump's declaration that Finland is a part of Russia. The Finns skewered Trump, They retorted that they were certain that the U.S. became part of Russia when Trump took the oath of office. Your Christmas gift, SS, is the book The Crazy Ape, written by Albert Zendioria, MD, PhD, Nobel laureate for his discovery of vitamin C, its synthesis, and many of its physiological actions. Lady Macama, stop your Nicholson-Baker behavior toward applicants. Slave to punctuation rule books? Imagine yourself being grilled by the ghost of Ludwig Wittgenstein in his Cambridge room, facie ad faciam, regarding language and logic. The water you would enter is unfathomably deep, dark, and cold. Wittgenstein wrote, "The real task of the philosopher is to dissect out the heart of the problem by close analysis of the language in which it was posed, and by so doing dissolve it." We are engaged in a struggle with language. Philosophy is the struggle against the bewitchment of our intelligence by means of language. What is your aim in philosophy? To show the fly the way out of the fly bottle. The bottle in Washington, D.C. is full. In desperation, you could quote to Wittgenstein's ghost the remarkable summation of Alfred North Whitehead shortly before his death when he was at Harvard. I am impressed by the inadequacy of language to express our conscious thought, and by the inadequacy of our conscious thought to express our subconscious. From the Dialogues of Alfred North Whitehead. Forget the comma and other punctuation. Ask your applicants to write their applications in Latin, in scriptio continua. Your Christmas gift, the book Prisons We Choose to Live Inside, written by Doris Lessing, Nobel laureate in literature. Recall, milady, hell is murky.